Should I be nervous about this?
What do you think?
I'm hoping in general they're all good, but there might be a couple of dodgy ones.
EJ Azak, who says you were great in Game of Thrones, and I know he's referring to this guy. Do you remember?
Yeah,
I think
this is going to be controversial. I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, haven't you?
No. I know this fella because people have said it to me before, but I get that all the time. Anyone with a ginger beard, oh look, he looks like you. So the doctor at the time at Villa came up with a plan to put a bit of steak on top of my foot. And people are going to go, nah, that's I can't do it. I'm telling you now, I played a game at Villa Park with a thick bit of steak strapped to the top of my foot to try and take the impact of the ball or getting stamped on.
Hello and welcome to Ironcast, and welcome to an extra special episode, and this one is called Ginge Reacts. We have got a selection of the best, worst, funniest messages that Ginge has received over the course of the season, and today we're going to put them in front of the man himself.
Should I be nervous about this?
What do you think?
I'm hoping in general they're all good, but there might be a couple of dodgy ones.
Well, one thing that doesn't come up in any of these messages is something you just said to me off air before we started. It was when you were at Villa, you broke your foot. Can we talk about this?
Of course we can, yeah. I mean, it would never... You probably had to see it to believe it. Like, I'm going to tell this story and people could go, nah, that didn't happen. I'm telling you now, this happened. So I broke my foot, the top of my foot, cracked the top of my foot. And just desperate to play, wanted to play. Wasn't bad, but I couldn't strike the ball or anything. Running was a bit sore. So the doctor at the time at Villa came up with a plan to put a bit of steak on top of my foot. And people are going to go, nah, that's I can't be right. I'm telling you now, I played a game at Villa Park with a thick bit of steak strapped to the top of my foot to try and take the impact of the ball or getting stamped on. It didn't work, but
did it help at all?
Probably a little bit. I mean, I had a broken foot. I probably shouldn't have played at all. But yeah, it was like on top of my foot, and then it was like cling film around it, strapped on, and I had to wear like a size 30. I mean, size 11, 10, 11. I had to wear like a size 13 boot just to get my boot on.
Bloody.
But yeah, it only made it till half time. It wasn't really doing anything. So then I just had some painkillers and just played the second half without it on. But yeah, like honestly, people would be like, no chance. And because I was running around, the steak was slightly cooked by half time. But honestly, that's just me. I would have done anything to play a game. I did think the doc was bantering at the time, and he reckons he had done it before with a player somewhere else at another club, and I went, yeah, come on, let's have a go then.
Let's have a go.
Yeah. Anyone in that Villa team at the time will vouch for me. That is a true story.
Believable. All right, let's begin with some messages. We begin with Danny Ward 673. I saw Ginge at the Bayer Leverkusen home game. I said Ginge, gave him an army salute, and he smiled and said, all right. I thought, I am now, pal. Do you remember that? Oh, do you remember shouting out Ginge? I guess
I get shouted Ginge at me quite a lot, so I'm gonna say no. I don't remember it, but that is what I feel very lucky that I've still got an unbelievable relationship. I probably get recognised more now than when I was playing for the club. Yeah, honestly, it's unbelievable. But the fans still and that's just me. I've always got time for the fans, always chat, like love speaking about West Ham, but that's one of many, if I come here on a home game working for the club, try and speak to as many fans as possible. But I feel blessed that I still got such an amazing relationship with them.
What's the number one thing fans will ask you about for your whole career?
They as in game or
any mode. What's the one?
Nowadays they ask me where did Ginger Pele come from, and
really?
I don't know, the answer to that. I like it, but I don't know the answer. Probably leaving.
Yeah,
leaving. They ask about the Leicester game when everyone was singing the year I left. I speak about that a lot with fans, and just my time in general. Best players, worst players. Banter, dressing rooms, managers, just general chat. And like I said, I try and speak to as many fans as I can because I love speaking about the club, still love the club. So like all different stuff. I haven't had anything too weird, I must be fair. But yeah, just general stuff. Best player, I get asked a lot.
This is a user that I can't even say his username. But he says, James Collins always makes me laugh. Decent bloke. Bowen is my Mr. West Ham.
Do I make him laugh like stuff I do off the pitch, I hope?
Presumably, yeah, the years you were playing.
There was probably a couple of things on the pitch he laughed at that I did as well. But yeah, I just try and, you all know me and a lot of West Ham fans. I just try and be myself as much as possible. I was very lucky to play football, but always had a pretty normal life outside the game, and just try and be as normal as possible.
Do you know the one thing we haven't really talked about? I would say your specialism, if you had one specialism, would be the last ditch tackle.
Oh, I loved it.
You'd always be like...
Yeah. I did get done a lot though. As in, do you know the big slide and I made a block? I got chopped a lot. Do you know when they go to shot and I think they're shooting and they just chop and I'm on my behind over here and they just go in? But that was part of it. Loved it. I that was probably my biggest. I loved the block. I loved the diagonal ball. Loved the diag across the pitch. Didn't do too many good ones of them, but loved it. Just generally being a defender, and that was part of it. But when I was a kid, that's what you used to do: tackles, blocks. Not that I ever thought I was to be a defender, but that's what I'd love to do.
Yeah.
Headers, loved it.
Yeah, you were good at it.
Thanks.
Helen Ludlow, love the ginger pele. I'm actually learning Spanish at the moment. I'm going to attempt this one. Es una de las entrevistas entretenidas. This is one of the most entertaining interviews. Oh, it was a comment on one of the videos. Good stuff. Oh, this is a good one. Ginge, you would have been great in the 70s. Only problem is that back then you didn't shave your head. You would have had to grow the 5 or 6 super long hairs from the comb over.
Yeah, I almost did this a few years back.
Oh, really?
I was going to grow the barnet. I was going to grow the sides and the back of my barnet and just go for a tash. I've been spending a bit of time watching rugby and up at the rugby club where I live, and they were a big fan of the tash a couple of years back, or maybe last year. I mean, yeah, no, I don't.
Oh, this was a couple of years ago.
I was just going to go. I'm still contemplating just the tash at one point next season.
Really?
Solid look, a tash.
Yeah, I was like, something you've said to me. I think the last game you had hair for West Ham was when we stayed up the last game of the season, 2007.
Yeah, I think I hung on to it too long. There's no doubt about it.
I watched it back. I didn't think it looked too bad. It was very wet day. Wet day,
high up camera did no good for me at all. There is a terrible, I don't know what year it was. There's a terrible picture of me and Nobes. Nobes scored that goal at Wolves. I think it's the year I went to Villa, 2009 maybe.
Yeah.
And I've shaved it off, but I ain't shaved it short enough. And it looks like, just a bit round the side and not a lot on top. I've got my arm around Nobes. He scored a great goal. And I think that was the picture that went right.
That was the picture that did it.
That was the one that's like, I'm bicking it. It's done. So I bick it 3 times a week just so it doesn't show at all.
It's actually weirder when you look back at you with hair. I think it looks weirder than like you so suit this hair like bicking your hair.
I think the beard helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, the beard helps.
I look back at old photos, those bits when I had hair. I feel like every photo I look at, I look overweight as well. I do, honestly. There's a picture of me in my early days at West Ham. I've got a blue kit on. I think we were playing Yeovil. I feel like I was about 2 stone overweight. Honestly, the picture's horrendous. The barnet's falling out. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what's going on here?
I'm actually going to go out and say it. I think you look better now than you did when you were younger.
Chris.
So how old are you in 2007? You would have been like 24?
24, yeah, something like that. I mean, you ask any of the boys.
That's the prime. That's not the prime of your life. You don't look like you're in the prime of your life.
I mean, like a fine wine, I think I am. I'm getting a little bit better with age. I mean, you ask any of the boys when I turned up, my dress sense, my barnet, it was not good, put it that way. And obviously London sorted me out, and I actually had a mullet when I think when I came to West Ham, I had a mullet.
It was going out the back a bit.
Long at the back. Used to shave the sides off. I went for a point of dyeing the tips of my mullet blonde. Oh
my God.
Thankfully, somebody may be able to get hold of a picture of this, but I had some questionable haircuts when I did have it. I was half buzzing it fell out, to be fair. One, because it was ginger and I just didn't know what to do with it. So just whip it off.
Mr. Bezel says, miss seeing you on the pitch, Ginge. Do you miss it? Do you miss playing or not? I spoke to Gary Neville about this, and he was like, "I do not miss playing football at all."
I do miss it. I do. I think the older I get in, the early days, obviously, you've been in the game so long, you're sort of happy, and you know you're done, so you're ready for the break. But you do miss it. Like I play a few 5-a-sides, I have done for the club, and a couple of charity games. When you're back in it, you can't get rid of that competitiveness.
Yeah.
So I was out here playing a 5-a-side. I got booked in like a 5-a-side tournament, so I just couldn't help but do what I wanted to do. So. Yeah, I don't miss it massively, but the big games and watching the boys in Europe there and stuff like that, there is a party that will always miss it. I think when I left school at 15, did it for 20 years. When you've done it for that long,
Yeah.
and it's that much a bigger part of your life, you'd be mad if you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
Saying that, I do miss it. I don't think I could play nowadays. I could play, but the game's changed that much.
Well, I don't know, like the low block, like
yeah, I think the lack of pace now would do me. It did me when I was playing, but I think the game's so quick and the high line now.
Yeah.
I think I'd struggle.
Yeah.
I'd do a job, I defend crosses and that's all still in the game. And I generally believe being a good defender will never go out of the game. But I think you've got to be quick.
Yeah.
You've got to be pacey nowadays.
Jappel4310 says, "Give this man a plaque outside the stadium." Do you have anything on the Champions Place? Have you got got a little stone there? Nothing.
No.
I've got one.
Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got one, but I'm disappointed that I haven't got one.
Well, I think I paid for it. They can't be good.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh, we've got to sort that out. Someone's got to have a word. There's a video apparently of you wearing ripped jeans from about 6 years ago, and someone replied with the name My Showbiz Name and said, "I don't think intentionally ripped jeans are acceptable at 34 or ever, to be honest."
I agree.
Do you remember that pair of jeans?
Yes. They're probably still in my wardrobe, to be fair. I was going to wear them this summer. No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, I do like my clothes. I like to think I dress all right. And it was just a point where I thought it was all right. I remember Luke Young saying to me, I was at Villa with Luke Young. I came into training in a tracksuit. And I was young at the time. He went, "Right, there's one rule I'm going to tell you. Do not wear a tracksuit when you're over 30. But I have, so.
Why is that?
I don't know. He's a strange boy. A great lad, Youngie, but he was. I was still at Villa. This is Luke Young. Quickly, Youngie. He used to train sometimes when he thought he was a bit overweight with a black bag on under his top and that.
Boxers do that, don't
That's
they?
old school. That is old school. Great lad. But he said, right, when you get to 30, no more tracksuits was his rule. I should have put ripped jeans in that.
A lot of the boys love a tracksuit. Cressy, Mickey often wears.
I think when you're coming into training, it's the easy option, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
another comment about hair. Barbara Frost says, "Loved you with hair, love you with no hair."
Ah,
yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
They both work. Tony Lawn says, "Does Ginge get into the West Ham Players Hall of Fame?" Too bloody right, he does. Yeah, it's not for you to say, but I will say.
No, I don't think I played enough games.
Yeah, you did. Is that without that spell at Villa? That's the thing that really.
Well, I was out for pretty much
one season, wasn't it?
Well, I came back from my knee. I was out for the season with my knee when I did my ACL, and then I think it was first game back, and I pretty much ruptured because I had the operation where they took a bit of my hamstring to rebuild my knee. I didn't do a lot of work on my hamstring, and literally, I think it was first game back. I almost ruptured my hamstring, so I was out for another. I bet it was probably 5 months after I came back from my knee with the hamstring. So all in all, I was probably out for the best part of 2 seasons, really, as well.
Yeah,
2008 sort of time, I'm sure it was. So yeah, I talk about it again. I love this club, love playing for it, loved every minute I have. I just wish I'd played more. The amount of time I was here, I just wish I'd played more games and also scored more goals.
Yeah. A comment from EJ Azak, who says, "You were great in Game of Thrones," and he's referring to this guy. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think this is going to be controversial. I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, haven't you?
No. I know this fella because people have said it to me before, but I think I get that all the time. Anyone with a ginger beard, oh, look, he looks like you. Thanks for that.
Well, that guy played a warrior in Game of Thrones. Can't remember his name. North of the Wall, for anyone who's watched it. Richard Moore, 67, says, "My favourite Welshman." Like West Ham. Have you been to many Welsh West Ham supporters clubs? Have you been to many of those?
Yeah, there is. Like in Newport, my dad's old boss is a massive. There's a big following.
Really?
And I didn't really know that until I came to West Ham. I knew like when I was growing up, there was a big Liverpool following in Newport. But when I came to West Ham, there was a big following. I know like busloads that come up for most home games from Newport.
Wow.
And I'm sure there is all over Wales. But yeah, my dad's boss, Johnny Waters, was big West Ham fan. All his sons are. Yeah.
Oh, should we do an Ironcast, Ironcast away day?
In Newport?
Well, yeah, in Newport, West Ham Supporters Club.
I mean,
next season.
It would be interesting.
one comment here. Mick Cooper says, one of my favourite West Ham performances was watching James Collins absolutely own Luis Suarez at Anfield.
Probably the best game I played for West
So
Ham.
what year was that then?
Oh, don't know. Couldn't. It's the similar picture that we had the blue and I think we had the blue and light blue and dark blue kit on. Might have been the Macron kit maybe, and he was just in his prime at the time. I think we drew the game 0-0, and I just decided to be really aggressive with him.
Yeah,
that game. Do you know you stand off him and he's unbelievable at nutmegs and all that? I thought if I go tight and be really aggressive, I've got half a sniff of doing all right, keeping a clean sheet. And from the off, I just went really aggressive.
So you thought, but you thought about that before the game.
Yeah, because you stand off players like that. And like I said, my lack of pace wouldn't have helped because he'd knock it around you and go. I just thought every time he gets it, I'm going to be as close as possible, tight as it. Leave a little bit on him now and then, see if he fancies it. And yeah, we that's probably the best individual game I played for West Ham.
Really?
I'm sure it was 0-0. Yeah.
Wow, I'll have to go back and watch that one again. Yeah. And so how did he react to leaving a bit on him? And
by half time, he was like, "Who is this fella?" Every
Really?
time I get the ball, he's tight, he's kicking me, he's this, and it's sort of he not changed his game, but you could sort of see like he'd had enough. I sort of won it by half time, and then
really,
it was just one of them games that everything went well. You know, you go in for tackle sometimes and they skip round you, but every time I went to tackle him or win the ball off him, I won the ball. And it is no doubt probably my best individual performance for West Ham.
Wow, there you go. Steve the Weave, Ginge, Welsh, and in his own admission, not the best footballer on the park. What's there not to like about the man? Not a lot.
I mean, yeah.
Good dress sense as well, which she's left off.
That's my wife. I'm sure she's got a list of things not to like or that I do.
And then last one I'll mention, Tommy Allen 5173. Close your eyes and listen. James Collins sounds just like Owen Hargreaves. Lol.
I was randomly with Owen Hargreaves on Saturday.
Really?
My son was playing a championship, a little tournament down in up on the A10, and Owen Hargreaves was coaching his sons.
All right.
Yeah. Is he not like born in Canada, raised in Germany,
got like an international
English fellow, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still got an international.
I'm sure he's born in Canada, brought up in Germany, obviously played for England. I mean,
I'm just trying to listen. I don't know if there is. No, you've got a Welsh accent.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ish.
Not super Welsh, the Newport Welsh accent. But saying that, I have been in London now longer than I was in Newport.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I came to, it's very close. I came to London when I was 20, 21, and now I'm 41 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
couple of months. So yeah, the Welsh is. I get more Welsh when I go back home.
Or after
go to Swansea or to my mum's in Newport. Go to Swansea to see me brother. The Welshness comes back.
Can you give us a flavour of how Welsh you get?
I'm not now. This is. I don't think I've changed at all. Like Newport, you ask anyone, people from Newport probably listening. It's not a strong Welsh accent. We have got our own sort of accent, but you go to Swansea and all that. It's proper Welsh.
Brilliant stuff. That was Ginge Reaction. Enjoy it. Wasn't too bad, was it?
Yeah, good as gold. I mean, like I say it again, the love I get from fans still is unbelievable, and find myself and think to be very, very lucky still to be involved with the club and still have an amazing relationship with the fans.
Yeah, great stuff. Brilliant. Cheers, Ginge.
Cheers, mate.
And thank you for listening, and thanks for all your comments as well. We'll see you soon for another Ironcast. Until then, come on, you Irons.